They called him Chief Adewale Akinyemi, oil tycoon, real estate mogul, and proud owner of the biggest stomach in Banana Island. A man so rich that even his silence could buy a politician. But beneath all that wealth was a secret lifestyle. Wrapped in lies, lust, and luxury hotel sheets, he had it all. A powerful wife, 3 children in the UK, cars he didn't know the names of, and a new side chick for every day that ended in Y. But one Thursday night, everything changed. That night, Chief had checked into his favorite suite at one of Lagos' finest hotels. He was with Cynthia, a 25-year-old Instagram influencer whose waist was snatched and whose tongue was sharper than his wife's lawyer. She was the kind of girl who could give you goosebumps and an ulcer. At first, the night was soft jazz and slow wine. Champagne flowed, secrets spilled, but by midnight the suite was silent. Not the kind of silence you find in peace, but the kind that sits heavy, like judgment. Chief woke up and Cynthia wasn't breathing. He blinked, rubbed his eyes, shook her shoulder. Still. Nothing. No response. No heartbeat. Just a cold body in a silk robe. For the first time in years, Chief's hands trembled. He called the hotel manager, told him to fix it, offered a blank check. But when the police arrived, they didn't come for negotiation. They came with handcuffs. And just like that, the bull of Banana Island became the scapegoat of Suite 405. The news hit faster than wildfire. Oil magnate arrested over side chick's death. Sugar daddy saga trends #1 in Nigeria. His pictures flooded Twitter. Memes flew. A blog even posted a video of him snoring beside Cynthia with the caption, "From riches to cell block B." His wife, Madame Ronka, didn't shed a tear. Instead, she organized a champagne brunch at home with her closest friends and toasted to freedom. She'd been married to a walking embarrassment for 18 years. She once caught him cheating in their own compound, in the guest house she built. She never divorced him. No, that would be too easy. Instead, she quietly took over his company's finances, transferred properties into her name, and signed deals behind his back. The chief was the face of the empire, but Madame Ronco was the engine. She just waited for the right moment to let the car crash, and it finally did. But here's the twist. Cynthia's autopsy didn't just reveal drugs or alcohol. It hinted at poison. Not the kind a rich man accidentally gives you during romance. The kind that comes from intention. Someone wanted her silenced. Chief swore he was innocent. "I no kill him. I no fit even kill mosquito," he cried from behind the police van. But nobody listened. Not even his lawyer, who only showed up after CNN picked the story. His friends, ghosted. His business partners, cancelled contracts. Even his dog, Bruno, stopped eating. Then came the anonymous letter to the police. Typed, no fingerprints. Check the account balance of Madame Ronke Akinyemi, 48 hours before Cynthia died. And just like that, a new question surfaced. Was the chief being set up? Was the real betrayal not between him and his wife, but between his wife and his freedom? Because money may buy silence, but not when the one speaking has waited 18 years to watch you fall. And this was just the beginning. They say a wife always knows, not because you tell her, not because she sees you, but because one day your energy will change, and she'll read it like subtitles on a Nollywood film. Ronke Akinyemi had known for years that her husband, Chief Adewale, was a serial cheater. But she wasn't your regular crying wife, no. Ronke was a strategist. She made her pain profitable. She turned humiliation into a plan. And now, with Cynthia's sudden death, that plan had entered its final phase. Meanwhile, in the cell, Chief Adewale sat on a wooden bench, sweat trickling down his wide forehead. His stomach, once proudly round like a drum, now sagged like soaked bread. He wasn't eating. Couldn't sleep. He'd begged the inspector 17 times for a mattress, a phone call, or at least Indomie. Nothing. Not even Indomie. The detective in charge, Inspector Cole, had his eyes fixed on the case file. Chief Adewale Akinyemi, 54, multiple businesses. Known side relationships. A witness says he argued with the deceased over a car. Chief leaned forward. Please, I love that girl. I mean, not love like love, but love enough not to kill her. Inspector Cole didn't flinch. Instead, he dropped a photo, a screenshot of a bank transfer. N17 million from a joint account between Chief and Ronke to an unknown account. 2 days before Cynthia died, Chief stared. His mouth went dry. He hadn't authorized that transfer. At least, he didn't think so. Ronke was sitting in her private study, sipping tea. Her lawyer, a petite woman in a grey suit, sat across from her. Are you sure you want to go this far, Ma? Ronke smiled calmly. He went far first. I'm just meeting him at the finish line. Her eyes flicked to the television. News anchors were still saying alleged, but she knew that wouldn't last long. The public loved a villain, and today, Chief Adewale was everyone's favorite. She dialed a number. Have the boys cleaned out his lecky apartment? Voice. On the line, yes, Ma. Even took the bottle of champagne he hid behind the fridge. Ronke nodded. Good. And the hard drives? Gone. Burned, she smiled. Perfect. Now, let's keep the drama going. The PA returns. Back in the real world, someone unexpected showed up at the station. Dare, Chief's personal assistant. Face. Rough, shirt stained, eyes wild. He begged to speak to Inspector Cole. I know something, he whispered. I know who Cynthia was texting before she died. And it wasn't Chief. Inspector Cole paused. Then who? Dare looked around nervously. She was talking to Madam Ronke. Silence. She said Madam warned her to stop playing games or she'd end up like the last girl. A mystery unfolds. Inspector Cole called Ronke for questioning. She came dressed like a senator's wife. Calm, composed, and smelling like power. When asked about her relationship with Cynthia, she smiled and said, My husband's distractions never concern me, dead or alive. But Inspector Cole noticed something. Her fingers, perfectly manicured, except for one nail, broken and bandaged. What happened to your hand, Ma? She paused, looked at him, smiled again. Life happened. Back to the cell, Chief sat in silence, thinking. His mind raced through the past month, the argument over passwords, the accidental update to his bank app. Ronke's sudden kindness. She had kissed him the day before he left for the hotel. The first time in 4 years, and now it made sense. She wasn't being kind. She was saying goodbye. There's a Yoruba proverb that says, the wall has ears. But in Chief Adewale's case, it wasn't just the wall. It was the hotel cleaner, the ceiling fan technician, and even the girl who brought jollof rice at 2 a.m. Everybody had seen something. They just hadn't said anything, yet. But that was about to change. Her name was Tony. A quiet, dark-skinned girl who worked housekeeping on the night shift at the hotel. She wasn't looking for drama. She wasn't even supposed to be on that floor. But her colleague had gone to see her boyfriend in the laundry room, and Tony had to cover for her. That was how she ended up outside Suite 405, the room of secrets, scandal, and one silent corpse. Tony didn't say anything at first, but when she saw herself on TikTok cleaning the hallway while Chief walked in with Cynthia, her phone started ringing. Her pastor called. Her cousin in Bielsa called. Even her ex-boyfriend who hadn't texted in 2 years, suddenly remembered she existed. That's when Tony realized this thing was bigger than gossip. So she came forward. In Inspector Cole's office, Tony sat nervously. She clutched her small bag like it was life insurance. I heard voices, she said. Not just Chief and the girl. There was a third person. Inspector Cole blinked. A third person? Yes, sir. A woman, older. She came in through the back staircase. She was wearing a hoodie. I saw her clearly, sir. I even greeted her. She didn't answer. Cole's pen froze in midair. What time was this? About 11:45 p.m. That was 15 minutes before the official time Cynthia was declared dead. Cole leaned back. You're sure? Tony nodded. Yes, sir. I don't forget faces. And I've seen that face before, on TV. Her name is Ronke. Cole sent a request for the hotel's back stairwell footage. But the footage from that night? Corrupted. Convenient. The tech team claimed it was a power glitch. But Cole knew better. Power doesn't glitch, only when one specific camera is involved. Still, He needed more than words. He needed proof. Before the police could move, Ronki made her move. She hosted a press conference. Calm, elegant, dressed in royal blue with a pearl brooch on her chest like a dagger. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "I am deeply saddened by the events surrounding my husband. But let it be known, I am not involved in his affairs, and certainly not in his mistakes." The media ate it up. She painted herself as the betrayed wife, strong, silent, and suffering in designer heels. But in truth, Ronki was controlling. Everything from behind the scenes, bank accounts, frozen properties, quietly moved to shell companies. Her husband's most loyal staff, bought and silenced, except for one person. Chief and Ronke's first daughter, Damilola, was in the country. Quiet, brilliant, cold like her mother. But unlike Ronki, Dami wasn't interested in power. She just wanted truth. And something wasn't sitting right with her. Why did her mother delete all the CCTV from their home office the night Cynthia died? Why did the house manager say Ronki spent an unusual amount of time talking to their security team that weekend? And most importantly, why did Ronki's diary, yes, she kept one, have a single line on the date of Cynthia's death? Closure. One evening, Dami showed up at Inspector Cole's office. "I'm not here to save my father," she said. "He's a disgrace." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Then why are you here?" She dropped a flash drive on his table. "It's a backup from my mum's laptop. She doesn't know I made it. You'll want to check the folder marked Charity Gala. It's not about charity." Cole inserted the drive. And what he saw changed everything. Chief Adewale froze when the officer mentioned his son. His only son, Teniola, the golden boy. Oxford-educated, quiet, clean record, never raised his voice, and yet, always watching, always listening. Chief blinked slowly. "Tenny? No. Tenny can't be involved. That boy doesn't even like phone calls, talk less of scandals." But in that moment, something clicked. The network failure that delayed Cynthia's payment. The missing login to Chief's private accounts. The silent tension every time Tenny visited home. It wasn't disinterest. It was strategy. While Ronki was paraded in front of the media and Chief sat rotting in his cell, Tenny was already in another country. He had taken a flight at 4 a.m. the morning the video dropped. Not out of panic, but because everything was going according to plan. You see, Tenny hated his parents. Not for cheating, not for lies, but for neglect, for building a kingdom of wealth and forgetting the child inside it. They were too busy cheating on each other to notice that their son had grown up cold, angry, and intelligent enough to burn them both to the ground. Slowly. How it all started, Tenny had met Cynthia a year ago at a tech conference in Abuja. She didn't know who he was at first, thought he was just another broke nerd. But when she found out he was Chief Adewale's son, she laughed and said, "So your dad's my sugar daddy, what a small world." That was when the idea formed in Tenny's mind. He didn't stop Cynthia. He encouraged her, funded her, even helped her record every conversation with his dad. Why? Because he wanted proof. Proof that would destroy both his parents' reputations and make him the sole, untouchable heir. Cynthia didn't know the full plan. And when she started talking too much, Tenny had a problem. So he made a deal with Ronki behind Cynthia's back. "Handle the girl," he said, "but make it look like Dad did it." And Ronki? Desperate to end the embarrassment? She agreed. That was her mistake. Once Cynthia died, Tenny leaked just enough to bury his father. Not everything. Then, when he saw his mother gaining public sympathy, he dropped the hidden footage to take her down too. He didn't care who ended up in prison. He just wanted to watch it all collapse, like the fragile empire it really was. Chief Adewale was convicted for obstruction and illegal possession of sedatives, but not murder. He got 8 years. Ronki was convicted for conspiracy and witness intimidation. She got 15 years. The case dragged on, and the public eventually moved on. Nigeria always has a fresh scandal waiting. But guess who now owns 70% of the family businesses? Tenny. He quietly returned, changed his last name, and rebranded the company under a tech conglomerate. No more oil. No more parties. No more Banana Island drama. He built a mansion in Kigali, Rwanda. No interviews, no noise. Just clean air and peace. One night, on the rooftop, his assistant asked him, "Sir, was it worth it?" Tenny sipped his wine, eyes fixed. On the moon. They betrayed each other. I just gave them the stage. Then he smiled, a cold, soft smile.